Hey everybody, Ryan Nordahl here again with Epic Whitetail Habitat LLC. We come in here, we've got a travel corridor that runs the east side of this bedding area. We've got food off to the west. We've got this bedding area in between, swamp that's to the east that runs the entire length, north and south. On this property, it's a 40-acre property. It's behind my parents' house. It's part of my brother's farm. We've been in here this week. We've been creating more bedding areas. We did some a couple years ago. It's doing tremendous. The regrowth, the browse in here is absolutely amazing on the regrowth. But we've come in here and we've made some buck beds, specifically on this bottom side, along this bottom travel corridor with a tree stand. About 70 yards from this location right here. It's a quick slip in the mornings, morning hunts. It's going to be perfect. We slip in through the swamp behind my parents' house, cross the creek, sneak right up in, hopefully catch them coming back, cruising this bottom travel corridor. As they slip back into their beds, hopefully we can get a strategy like that. Otherwise, during the rut, these bucks will be cruising this bottom travel corridor that we've made. It was already here. We've just enhanced it by cutting back, opening up the canopy, allowing daylight in. We're going to be setting mock scrapes, at least licking branches every 40 to 50 yards, 30 to 40 yards. Slow that deer down. Waste his time as much as possible while he's in here. During the rut, catch him in the mornings, all day long we can sneak in here. Sneak in here early in the mornings, before they get back here in the bedding, catch them cruising, catching that downwind side, whether it's a northwest wind or a southwest wind, any westerly wind, we've got them pegged. Now, the cool thing about this is, this deer has already been here. I know it's a buck just by how wide the base of his heel is. It's absolutely amazing. I just made this bed yesterday. So, yes, deer are looking for side cover when it comes to thermal bedding cover. That is the truth. But I do have an overhead here. I've got 2 elm trees that I've hinge cut over. Now I haven't cut them very high. I only cut them about 3.5, maybe 4 feet high at the most. We've got new regeneration right here in his bed. He's going to be able to browse right here. He ain't going to have to move out of here. We've created that 5-star hotel effect. As far as the bedroom goes, we know where he's bedding. He's already been here. I can see right here where his back leg buried into the ground, buried into the bare dirt that's here. He laid here last night, and I just made this bed yesterday. It's totally amazing. I can't believe it. It really is. I get a lot of naysayers that mock me. You know, I've heard it all. You know, sentences like that, phrases like that. It's okay. You're just ignorant. That's all. These methods, these techniques, the tips I share, they do work. They at least work for me. Maybe it's not something for your property. And hinge cutting isn't necessarily for every property there is. I'd say less than half of the properties I visit, I recommend hinge cutting for bedding areas. Now, hinge cutting is a tool in the toolbox. There's no doubt about it. But you get into the northern part of Wisconsin, the northern part of Minnesota, there's not a lot of trees that can be hinge cut. There's a lot of popple, pine, spruce. They don't hinge cut very well. Popple does not hinge cut. Birch can, depending on the size. You can hinge cut birch depending on the size. You can't cut very far into it, and you take it easy, you can bend it over. Now, there have been Rare cases where I have gotten popple to hinge cut. I did some this spring on a client property in north central Wisconsin. It worked. But it was just a trial basis. He had plenty of other trees that we could hinge cut. Some oak, some elm, a lot of silver maple, and it worked out great. But again, this bed right here, made it yesterday. And this buck was already in here. How do you know it was a buck? You can tell the tracks, whether it was a doe or a buck. You can. Just the base of the width of his heel gives him away. How big of a buck? Not really sure. What we can do is I can get a camera in here. Undetected by him, I can set it high, at least somewhere where he exits or enters this bedding location, and key in on him. I think it's a mature buck, and hopefully we can take him this fall. Try this. If you're interested in this kind of stuff, you gotta try it. Maybe hinge cutting is something that scares the daylights out of you. It did me the first time I tried it, and thank God I had somebody that showed me how. I thank him every day to this day. But I've honed my technique, and I'm actually kind of good at it. Now, I don't mean go in and just slaughter a woods with hinge cutting. It's a strategic method of doing it to still keep your timber harvest, your high value dollar trees, your high dollar trees intact for future timber sales, to help you fill your budget when it comes to habitat improvement on your property. It's amazing what a little chainsaw work can do, though. If you're not comfortable, there's plenty of resources out there. I love to do it. I absolutely love to do it. Everything in here has been done with a handsaw because I love the aerobic exercise it gives me. I absolutely love it. But I love running a chainsaw as well. If I had to have a specialty in my business, that's what it is. I'd love to help you out, but that's up to you. I'm not here to sell myself to you. Whether you believe in hinge cutting or not, it works here on this property. So I think I'm going to stick with it. Now, there are things that I can do, you know. A lot of these trees will probably die within the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. But then there's things I can do, I can come back in with. Whether it's spruce, whether it's some type of shrub that can act as thermal cover as well as providing browse to the deer in here. But again, we've got ag to the west, we've got bedding in the middle, travel corridor on the south. It connects and loops back out into the fields on the south end and the north end. I'm really excited for what this fall is going to bring, as you should be. Good luck with your habitat projects. If you need any help, need any advice, a second pair of eyes on your property, get a hold of me. I'd love to share some ideas with you. But that's up to you. Thanks for joining me. I love and appreciate each and every one of you who tunes into my videos. It means the world to me. It really does. I cannot thank you guys enough. Because it's guys like you that keep me driven to produce more content. Yeah, it might not be the greatest, but I'm doing this myself. I'm not the greatest videographer in the world. I'm doing it on my cell phone. I'm doing all my editing on my cell phone. I do the best I can. I'm learning more techniques. And that's what the name of the game is. That's what life is all about. Learning and growing. making mistakes, you got to have failures in order to grow. You do. But the things I implement on my property, they do work, and they do work on my client properties as well. 45 clients this year across 9 different states. I'm absolutely blessed. It's a blessing. It really is. I'm so happy and grateful that I went after my dream of helping people develop their properties for better deer hunting, and hopefully for better deer hunting for the generations to come. Thanks for tuning in. Love and appreciate you all. If you like this video, please like it, leave a comment, leave a suggestion, how I can do better, how I can present better. I have an open mind, and I'm not afraid of criticism. That's how I learn. That's how we all learn. Constructive criticism, guys. We're all in this together, and I want you to have just as much success with your deer hunting and your habitat projects as I have experienced in my life. And I love helping my clients up their game when it comes to deer hunting and habitat management. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you.